Hello, everyone. If you're planning to do business in China, you should be aware at least of these 5 risks that we have identified in our ebook. I'm Sylvain Gauthier, I'm the executive producer. And of course, our goal is to give you tips and tricks and share the knowledge with you in order for you to be able to get a job in entertainment or do business in the show business. But also mention that where I am in China and while I'm here and working on different production projects here, might as well share with you some lessons that we're learning here over the last 2 3 years. Actually, I've been here more than 10 years total if I put all the years together. So there is certain things that we have learned. We've put them into an ebook, a short ebook, something that could be read in 1 hour. Actually, the title is, 1 hour to save 1,000 hours of stress. And that's really what we mean by that. It's knowing these risks, that could come and bite you. You're going to prepare you in a better way in order for you to mitigate the possibility of these things to happen, or to simply have a contingency if this happens. So the idea of the book is to give you 5 points, 5 lessons learned. It has been gathered not only from my experience but also from other expat who comes here and worked here for a certain period of time, others that are traveling back and forth, and they have experienced some of these challenges that we're going to be sharing. Working in China is very challenging, but there's a lot of reward too. So let's take a look at what the content of the book can provide you. If any of these risks you have lived through or you think you're living through, I suggest you go download the book and read the rest. If for you it's not applicable, you haven't seen any of this, or you don't think it will happen to you, then fine, at least you know that exists. And if one day you encounter any of these things, you could come back and get a copy of the book. The book is not expensive. We're not trying to make money out of this thing. It's just, to give you a guide, something you could read on the plane on the way back in China or on the way home. So without any ado further, I'm going to go down below and we will actually go through chapter by chapter, or at least lessons by lessons, and just give you a quick overview of these lessons. If you feel like it's valuable for you, then you could go down and get a book. Okay, now let's get to the presentation. And what I'm going to do is here I've got open on Prezi basically the big section of the book. So the book is called 1 Hour to Save 1,000 Hours of Stress Doing Business in China. Of course, we're focused on China because this is where we are located, and this is where the main of the story and that we have used in this book comes from China. But I can tell you, I'm working also in Vietnam in different places, and some of these probably applicable in other areas. So, but let's focus on China for now. So yes, the focus is China, and China has got lots of nice things to do and lots of potential, and everybody's get very excited when they come here, big hope, but it's not an easy place to do business, and you know that, and you hear that, but sometimes it's like, okay, well, where is the difference? And we're going to try to focus not on all the difference, because that would take hours, but at least area that you should be very familiar, or at least be aware. So 1 Hour to Save the 1,000 Hours of Stress. It's a book that is available on ebook. It's available also if you want a paper copy, you could go on Amazon and get a paper copy. It's not expensive. It's less than $5, and it's written in a way that you could go through it very quick. So we don't, and I get to the point. I'm not gonna start putting all kind of things that using more words than we need. Get straight to the point, like I'm talking to you, and this is what's watch out, you got this coming up, and this is what you do, and this is what happened for this in this situation, so you could recognize that. So it's available, book or ebook, and basically it's written by me. I've been like in China a long time, and now I'm a producer of live shows, so you could probably check on the channel other content that I do, and basically sharing you what my experience and what I collected from other people. So, what is the first point we're going to be discussing in the book? Who is protecting you? Basically saying, why do you need to be protected when you do business in China? It's very important. That's the first question you need to answer. If you're going to be successful in this business, if you're going to be coming here in China and wreck the market and be a player and start taking market share, I guarantee you, you better be protected. And if you're not protected, you are like a sheep that is right now in the field, and I guarantee you there's some wolves that are going to come and get you. So if you are in a situation where things are really going well and growing and things are popping up, I suggest you understand better how you can protect yourself and with who you could protect yourself, so you could be in a better position at least to avoid some people to coming after you, and also if they do come after you, how you come after them. I can tell you right away, court is not your friend. You know, the whole idea of we got contracts, we got a big lawyer firm in Beijing, good luck with that. Okay, you're not going to go far with that. That's not what we're talking when I'm saying by protecting you. So if you are in this situation, I suggest you go and find out, you know, different ways and how people got pretty much wiped out in China very fast. Okay, they were doing very good very quick, and poof, overnight they got, you know, blown in pieces and couldn't do nothing. So be aware. Okay, first question, who's protecting you? Then let's move on to the second point, which is cash is king. China, people will actually flash you profit like crazy. It's a big market, there's a lot of opportunity, you're gonna make a lot of money, and people's eyes are popping up, and and profit. As soon as you spend $1 to come on the plane to come to China, your first thinking that needs to happen is like, how do I get my dollar back? Okay, don't start to think how much more money I'm gonna make with that dollar. No, think, how do I get it back? And I want to get it as fast as possible. If you don't think this way, I guarantee you this place is going to suck up all your cash very fast. You're going to run out of it, or you're going to drain yourself dry. And then after that, because you want to have that big, you know, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, well then I guarantee you after that, it's going to be very, very, very tough when you are in a very low cash situation to actually make profit. Okay, and people will know that. They will leverage you in negotiation, and you're not going to be able to do whatever you have to do. So cash is king. So if you are in a situation where you're tight on cash and you're coming here and you're hoping to get a big piece of the market, then I suggest, you know, read that part in terms of how do you switch from a profit mentality to a cash mentality by understanding your cash to cash cycle, so you can recover money very fast. So cash is king, second point. Third point is you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate, okay? And this is very interesting because people, you know, would say in China, it's about relationship, right? You need to have good relationship, you need to develop relationship, you need to invest time in your relationship in order for you to be able to do business. That is true, okay? Relationship is very important in business here, more than it is, for example, in North America or in Europe, but to a certain level, okay? And investing too much in a relationship, basically where you will be helping the companies because you're expecting to get a contract, you will be helping the people, you will be helping them get the financing, you're helping them building the business plan, the business case, whatever it is you try to help, you know, and you're doing a lot of the work, you're not getting paid, and because you're building a relationship and you expect, if it works, there's a contract, well, I should deserve to have this contract. Well, no, okay? And that's one thing that you have to understand. Whatever you do won't count when you're going to start negotiating the contract. And that's a very important aspect, because if it doesn't count, that means a lot of the investment you did up front, if you haven't exchanged it, if you haven't bartered for other things, some value that you haven't put in, then you're going to be in a tough situation where you're going to be a lot of the people, they feel like they've been ripped off, they've been abused, people, you know, and that happened a lot, right? Where people will ask you for a presentation, will ask you to dig in more, to calculate some financials, to do all kinds of things, right? So you got to understand that if you are placed in this situation, you're trying to develop and people are keep asking you, you got to barter. okay, and I'm using the term barter, where you need to exchange for value. If I'm going to do this for you, you do this for me, okay? And learn how to do that, so if or when the negotiations start, you all have an advantage. At least I'm not, getting screwed by the guy that didn't do anything and he's coming $100 cheaper than me and he gets a contract. So you don't want that, okay? So at least you want to be fair. At least I didn't invest more. I got something in return going to the contract. So if you are in this situation, I suggest you start reading a little bit in the book about this, because you might find some tricks in terms of what can you barter that's got value versus, for example, if they're asking you, could you show us the concept, that you have in mind for us? Well, okay, what do you got for me? Okay, so that's the idea. So that's point number 3. Now, point number 4, government hidden costs. People understand that coming to China, there is some cost that is visible, like how to set up a business, or the cost to set up a business, to get your license, renting space, stuff like that, or government permits. Those are the kind of things that are pretty easy to find. If you have somebody working for you locally, they can give you all these costs. The thing is, chances are you're going to be building a business plan or a business case coming here for an investment you want to do or to develop the market. That invest in business case or plan, will include certain investment in different places. This is where you're going to collect all these costs. The point is, a lot of the time, there is other costs that are not stated that will pop up and you didn't anticipate in there. And for example, it might be a permit. The permit is like $35, or if you want, 350 RMB, let's say. Easy to predict. It's there. I got it in my P&L. Perfect. Go to get the permit, 350 RMB. But the permit's got a little, note inside. And it says every time you do an event with this permit, you need to have 200 security guard. And the security guard, by the way, you need to hire them from us. So now you start to look and it's like, whoa, I mean, that's 200 people that I have to pay every time I do the, start to calculate, your business case is out the window. So there's many hidden costs like this. Tax is a disaster in terms of figuring out what tax you're going to have and then not being surprised with a tax. So there's many things in terms of hidden costs. So what we try to do is try to raise you some flags of the ones that we know that we have encountered. It's probably not all of them. There's probably others we don't know. One of the things as part of this book is people will be reading it and they're probably going to give us some example. Oh, by the way, we encountered that, and we'll collect that and update the book as we go. But there is hidden costs. If you're working on an investment plan to come in China and you have your costs listed, or at least your target costs, you should be aware and have like some room, some contingency, some reserve, and we'll discuss that in the book a bit of how you could protect yourself with money. So when these things happen, you could explain it to your investors or the shareholders that are, or your stakeholders that are, putting the money in, what happened, and and you're ready to deal with it. Okay, so that's number 4. And the last point, which is a very interesting point and a very painful one, right? The whole idea of linear versus circular thinking, and people always try, sometimes it's not easy to understand. When people say, why do I have the feeling like we're doing 1 step ahead and 2 steps backward, right? Why I have the feeling last week you told me we were there, and now this week it's looked like we're not there anymore? It's like, what's going on? Are you on top of this? Are you managing it? And then you feel like, yeah, but they changed their mind, and then why do I have the feeling like the contracts say one thing and then we're doing something else right now? Nobody's following the contract. So you have these crazy discussion, and I can tell you, it's like very painful for any project manager or a business manager, development manager, because you might be very solid in your market. You're coming here, you're living through this, and it's like you don't understand what the hell is going on, right? Why I have all of these things that are different. So one thing is, I'm trying to explain to you, and it took me a while and with a lot of people to try to figure out what's the difference. Where is it? And other people would say, well, it's a cultural difference. No, cultural difference. Yeah, I agree. Culture is different. Food is different. Everything is different. But the thing is, when you work on a project and you start to look, are they working on the same phase as us or same methodology? Yeah. Are they doing planning like us? Yeah. Are they doing scheduling and budgeting like us? Yeah. They're doing the same thing. So why are we going in like this, right? And kind of coming, and this whole idea is all explained in the book in terms of what's happening here. Okay, and you know, if you are in this situation, then I suggest you start reading it so you could understand a little bit better, and hopefully that's going to open up a light. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what's happening, and the point is, it's interesting to spend a bit of time to understand that, because then it's easier for you if you have a head office in North America or Europe somewhere, and they want to know what's going on, and you try to explain to them what's going on, and then people is like, what's going on? What are you doing in China? What's happening? Right? It's like, so you could explain a little bit the phenomena of what's happening, and that's the idea. We even put some graphic to explain that, you know, it's never complete, it's never 100% complete, any deliverables that you do, so it's always stay open and gets integrated in the environment, and then we bring it together. It's like a big loop, a big tornado that keeps going and growing and growing, and then if it means we're deviating from the contract, we deviate from the contract, and it goes like this. So, and there's some examples that help you to understand that. So understanding this piece might help you to lower down a little bit the pressure of and give you some ways of explaining to people that are not necessarily here what's going on. So those are the 5 points, and those are area that will actually drive you the most stress that we have identified. There's probably others, you know, that we're not covering there, but let's leave it to this. At least if you got a couple of these things you might want to deal with them, go ahead, you know, read and pick it up. If not, then it's okay. At least you're aware, and next time if something happens, you could come back. Okay. So finally, you could download the book if you want at the theexecutiveproducer.com. The book is at $4.97, and you can get a paperback copy at Amazon. And I'm looking for your comments. And actually, we don't have the truth on everything. And nobody really knows, you know, the whole business thing. Okay, so people that are claiming they're, you know, we're learning every day. Have done that for like more than 12 years now, and I can tell you that is a surprise every day. So nobody really knows in detail, but what we could do is to share and exchange. And the book is, the idea is to start that exchange process, and let's grow this thing, and let's collect from your also experience, so we could make it a real book that could really help us doing business in China. So leave your comment down below.